Добрый день, друзья. Модель Anyway Operations сейчас имеет жизненно важное значение для успешного выхода бизнеса из COVID-19. По своей сути, эта операционная модель позволяет бизнесу быть доступным, доставленным и задействованным в любом месте, где клиенты, работодатели и бизнес-партнеры работают в физически удаленных средах. Как быть в вопросах управления процессами? Сохранятся ли эти изменения после пандемии в условиях будущей новой нормы? Как бизнесу развиваться в цифровой реальности? Как пандемия повлияла на цифровизацию бизнеса и что же будет дальше? Именно эти темы мы порассуждаем со спикерами следующей сессии Remote Everything. Итак, встречаем наших участников. Модератор Пекка Вильякайнен, советник председателя Совета директоров фонд Сколково. Сесилия Сомерс, CEO ВФО, одна из 50 ведущих футурологов женщин по версии Forbes. Кристина Тихонова, президент Microsoft Россия. Александр Галицкий, управляющий партнер Алмаз Капитал. Ян Кухальский, генеральный директор холдинга Медиа-1. И Игорь Колганов, SEO Инотех. Прошу.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on my behalf and welcome on Skolkovo Foundation on behalf. We have an exciting topic, but it's not new. Remote everything was a reality already 22 years ago, 1999, technology-wise. You could do the work, what we are doing now in the COVID, with video conferencing, with Skypes, with many other things. So actually being remote as such is nothing new. Of course, a lot of technology has been built, it has become like a day-to-day life, but actually for our life, only the COVID was making it a big boom. So I can tell you as a Finski coin that before COVID, there was some guys and girls in Moscow where you had to fly into Moscow to see them, but not anymore. Now you can reach anyone remotely, which is a kind of an improvement. Same applies for all the countries of the world. Well, we have today here 5 highly respected members of the IT community and the business community, 2 coming online and 3 here. And I let everyone to introduce themselves very shortly, but we try to be very directly to the topic. For me, as a basic introduction, remote everything is 2 things. First of all, how we communicate, how we build, how we recruit, how we develop people, how we influence the people, because leading a company means whether you can change or not. If you can make a change through remotely, then you are a great leader. If you cannot change anything, even physically, not to mention remotely, your leadership sucks. That's one element. How do you lead people? The second element of remote is how do you manage industries, factories, businesses remotely. And I give you a short example. This is my friend Sasha's favorite topic. I'm also an investor and the chairman in the world's most modern fish factory, organic salmon. And even the end product is fish, riba. All factories can be monitored, controlled totally remotely. We have a digital twin, not only about the water tanks and cooling systems and heating systems, but we have a digital models of millions of salmons. So we have a digital twin of millions of salmons. Why I'm saying is that when we say remotely has 2 totally different angles. We have here a mining industry company where we are controlling mine devices somewhere in Siberia. Some guys here in Moscow are controlling space stations. That's also remotely. So doing remotely is an everyday thing. The question is, how do we get business growing, how we learn, because the biggest problem in remote work is we, people, humans. We don't learn as quickly as we should, and that's why I hope that all the speakers today would comment a little bit about this topic from the human perspective, not only technology perspective. So without further ado, let's start a round. I have some specific questions, and I have also got some questions to my mobile phone from you, and you can send it to me to my email, bulldozer@sk.ru. I will read and I will take the best one of those. But let's start from, we have in Finland, we have a philosophy ladies first. So let's start from Christina from Microsoft. And sorry, I'm using just the first names because I'm Jatolka Pekuska there. So Christina, how Microsoft has changed the way of life? I'm not talking about your product groups back in Seattle, or I'm talking about how Microsoft has changed the way of working, being more and more remote. Please, madam.
Okay, now I want to use the Russian language because mostly we have Russian-speaking people here, so thank you. It's very nice to be here today. So my name is Christina, and I represent Microsoft in Russia. So really, when the pandemic started, I had a feeling, so what is so new here? We all used to work remotely before. We worked from home, we worked from any office. However, when all the functions should be put remotely, and me as a general director, without visiting the office, so then we really did not really fully understand this challenge. So the experience of Russian Microsoft is quite unique. It's unique even regarding the general scale of Microsoft, because if other offices, they were open during these 2 years, so they were open, people came to the offices, then they were closed. But we have not opened the office for all this time. I just maybe visited a few times. Even my internal colleagues don't believe me, so how is it possible? It just confirms the fact that you can do any work, any administrative work, you can do it remotely. So our experience should not be under-evaluated or over-evaluated. So I think that we did really a lot for ourselves. And as Pekka said, it's all about people. It's all about cooperation between people. So if we don't change how people cooperate among each other, long conferences, duration of the conferences, what kind of questions are discussed. Of course, we need to leave some time for some non-formal questions. How the culture changed, even according to some signals, some details. For example, a few years ago, it would be strange if someone had brought a dog for a meeting, but now it's a part of the norm. It's some microscience of our corporate culture that has changed. So answering the question, what is remote for us? For us, it is a reality, as for many our clients. So for us, it's more a question if this remote will stay as the main model. And we think we have a little bit different opinion, not remote everything. We can do everything remote, yes. We can organize conferences and events, but we think that it will not be remote, it will be hybrid, because now we have 2 big mega trends. Maybe just 1 minute more. There is one mega trend. It was research done by LinkedIn. Then a big number of people now have some changes in their life, like change of work, like change of the job, change of the location of everything, and the change of the job, of the career. Now doesn't depend on geography. It's 41%. So like every second of your employee can leave you in the next 12 months. And so the demand of the employees to be flexible is now very, very high. I know that you all read a lot of studies. And the second mega trend is the hybrid paradox. So we spoke with the same group of people, and 70% out of this group said that they want to continue working remotely, and 70% out of this set of people, they said that they want from time to time come to the office and meet colleagues. So the same people want both the office and remote. So this is the question for us. So now, okay, yes, we can work remotely, we can do do everything remotely, but can we do it in a hybrid format? Like, for example, this event that we have now. Can the speakers now have the same experience in this hybrid format as the same as if it were offline? Or maybe not yet. We think not yet.
I have an additional question, very short one. I know that Microsoft has been all these years very performance-oriented. How do you do the people assessments? Because I happen to know I used to hire once 20,000 nerds to my company, I mean technical boys and girls. And assessment of people is quite sensitive and difficult, even when you're face-to-face. In Finland, we do it in a sauna. But the question is that, how do you do it in the Microsoft world, the assessment? Are you just trusting on some magical artificial intelligence? How do you know who is really performing, who is not? Because the human interaction, who is the good guy, who is an asshole, it's quite important part of the equation.
Thank you for this question. It's a very important question, especially for the talent, market talent, because we have to recruit everyone online. So I want to go a little big, make a step off. So Microsoft and American companies in general, we have a kind of cliche in our head that it's some sweat-taking machine, very performance-oriented. Microsoft was like this 3 years ago. When I came to the company, many people told me, who remember this time, like some 6 months reviews when they just finished, and they were already preparing for the next review, and people just made a bid, like for the country manager, will he be fired after this review or will not? They were so frightened that this culture of assessment and performance prevails. So in the recent 2 years now, the key competence of managers includes taking care of people. So now it's like a key competence. You need to take care of the people. It's not that it's nice to have, but you must do it. And the assessment of people during the recruitment is also done with other criteria. So first of all, we look at the cultural fit, what kind of values this person has, how this person manages the people, how he can solve some difficult cases, how he can give some constructive feedback, how well can he take care. So the practice shows that it's now much more important because the hard skills and the knowledge what the person can do with the hands, so maybe use some models, some competences, they are increased, and now the knowledge are very fast outdated. So first of all, we need to analyze soft skills, and I updated the whole leader team, for example, in these 2 years, and I did it remotely. So I just analyzed the soft skills and what is the attitude of this person to the challenges, for example. It's very important for this market. So this is the answer.
Let's move on online to Cecily. I think you are based in USA. Are you online? Hi, Cecily.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to
Hi.
see you.
First of all, I must say that I also have at home, my wife is also a female futurist. She knows precisely what happened next. So, but she's a Russian woman. They know everything what happened next. But talking about seriously about the remote issues, how do you see, from your perspective and based on the studies or your view, how this being totally remote, how it will impact to our mentality, our life, I mean, us as a human beings, because this soft part, let's call it soft part, is absolutely the essential story, as we heard from Christina.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. And morning for me, I'm here in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US. I do want to just explain that I'm a business futurist. And that means that I work with leaders and organizations to take a long look at the future through a structural lens of significant forces. I am often asked to work with them on the future of scenarios, and I've been lucky enough to work with Google for the last now nearly 7 years on the future of leadership, which is really what does it look like inside of the organization, how leaders are prepared to manage this future, and how you manage people as well, which is at the heart of your question. In my work, I really help to distinguish between knowing what changes, what doesn't change, in order to find what's next. And the heart of it is what doesn't change, and that is fundamentally human nature and human needs. And so when we think about what it is that we are caring for, we only need to look inside our own hearts in many ways to know and feel what's there. I use a solutions matrix, which is very, very simple for these times. And that is that we are looking on a continuum between the human quotient and the AI or automated quotient in any situation. We are on the vertical also looking between the physical and the virtual. So all of our hybrid solutions will have components where we may be sliding a little more human, a little more automated. There are going to be many things that are only satisfied directly, one-to-one, human-to-human contact, even as we start to strap on more glasses and enter hybrid and virtual realities together, including at work. So we need to remember that our needs remain the same. Our tools for meeting those needs are what's evolving and shifting very rapidly. In the business environment where the trend is leading, and it will take several years to implement this in larger corporations, but the work is on. And that is to really deploy AI for hiring, and then also for managing talent, an internal marketplace where the benefits, people believe, are that we get to really meet people in their moment of development. It can be real-time responses to what's happening in somebody's need state, again, that human element, but AI to facilitate the knowledge, what helps us understand what they need right now so we can be responsive. So that the training and development can be much more personalized according to the person, and critically for what's happening in our world, which is massive decentralization, is that the organization now is going to be able to identify talent kind of at the periphery or where leaders don't necessarily have direct contact. So as they're mobilizing and deploying talent for distinct projects, which is more and more the way work is being done, rather just huddled in teams in physical spaces, now we're going to be recruiting talent from across the organization for specific projects and doing some of the decentralized autonomous organizing on a project basis. So the remote aspect of this, of monitoring using AI, virtual spaces, all comes together for us to do what we do already, which is to convene, collaborate, connect, communicate, all of those things that we must do, but hopefully a little bit more with more kind of facilness, the facility for us to realize those talents in real time, even if real time doesn't mean in real physical spaces. So that's what I would add as an opening statement here.
Thank you, Cecily. How is the snow situation there in Michigan? Is there snow? Because we have a hell of a snowstorm here in Moscow right now. I guess there is a winter there. Okay, Igor, you are running the fastest growing IT company in Russia, as far as I understand. When you are recruiting people now and you are growing your organization, there is a philosophy that if organization grows more than 20% in the knowledge business, something goes wrong. It's the kind of a global wisdom. If it grows more than 20% in knowledge business, something goes wrong. We have a lot of studies. My question is to you, that when you are building an IT company in Russia, a technology company, is these issues what Cecily was saying here and what was Christina was mentioning, is this impacting the way how you are building your team? I mean, is it impacting to what kind of people you are selecting? Are you selecting this or this? And how you are managing them going forward? How it's impacting your daily life, this remote work and the impact of it? Please, sir.
Спасибо большое. Вы очень точно показали на моих сотрудников.
So thank you. You showed that my employees. So here we have people who came here. So now it's a group of companies that is the most fastly growing, and many of them joined us in November. So these principles that were discussed now, they are now at the basis of the culture, that we can grow like this, so we can make a lot of mistakes. So we have a lot of problems with the growth. Any project is very good.
Все знаем и понимаем.
We all know it. So for us, as for a company that was born during the time of COVID, we started our activity in May, when lockdown was already present and when the remote became already the challenge. So we tried to make the biggest benefit that we can have with the remote work. So we created the chain, and we have offices in 4. So we have them as the basic offices for management, for back office. So initially, when we created the company, when we create a part of it, we will be the biggest one. So we will be have more than 10,000 people, and then we also gave some parts of the budget that were predisposed for the office and for some spending that were traditional in 2019 for technologies. So because a lot was invested in the development of the technologies, we managed that we help people to get rid of boring work. It's very important now. So we do not bring everything to the remote work, but it's also modernize everything. It's a key statement that we need to add. So it's some routine process. So we can pay for it more. And we can leave just the people who create something new. And it's possible to rethink the processes in the traditional companies. So I will just try to use this term, bionic. So robots are not tired. So they can just do the surgery like every day, all the time. Everything that we can do remotely with the robots should be all brought here. People just should be responsible for the creativity. 93% of our company are programmers, engineers, scientists. These are people who create new digital worlds and new products of bank digital products. So the new class. This is the people who allow those 10 millions of people who do this to enjoy the digital world and to get the digital channels of the bank service, to have the bank products without the presence offline and without the necessity to risk our life and to go out of the new situation. So all your questions about assessment and cooperation with people, so it's the reverse part of the medal, and of course we lack some things.
Igor, in this, what you said, a magical word, back office, and the boring jobs and the boring tasks. I have a 14-year-old son, Danchik, who is a half Russian, half Finnish boy, and he was listening one of the conference call in a car, and then he asked from me that, Papa, what is back office? I said that, well, it's a good question. The back office is where all the back office things like salaries and all this kind of boring things is done. And he asked that, I thought that back office is non-existing, that it's like in Apple Pay or in Apple iTunes when you buy, that everything happens like online. So is there still this kind of back office available? I said, yeah, there is in Finland, in Russia, in most of the companies. I just very shortly, do you have any estimation how much you are able to cut this kind of a back office type or automated it? Because a lot of people would be perhaps unemployed, but also very happy. I mean, back office would be, and we could move people and talent for the more productive work. So what is your estimation in your own company? And your colleagues can then say if it's true. Please, пожалуйста.
Да, значит, текущие метрики наши.
So yes, now we have about 7% of the back office, and we can decrease it by 2 times, not by shortening, but not by increasing the company, not by doubling the company. This is very important for me. So it's better to pay to those employees who work in the back office and who have to do some maybe not nice procedures to make more, but you need to have maybe less of them. So that's why the happiness is, it will be added to them. So, and to make a bigger input into the automation or process are quite nice, digitalized. It's very interesting problem when we train the programs to automate.
Sasha, you are the well-known investor of the high-tech sector, and I want to start with a specific question, because everybody is mentioning in somewhere artificial intelligence, AI and so forth, using it. And I was just a week ago listening an ebook while walking with my dog from Dan Brown. And Dan Brown, we can take with a great writer or not, but there was an idea where a technology guy had an AI machine, Winston, who was handling all the back office work for him. I mean, call Winston, do this, call Winston, do that, and so forth. My question is to you is that when you are watching the technology portfolio where you are investing AI, how far we are that we can replace a lot of the back office work with the AI type of a solution which are doing and helping us like a robot, so to say, also in the knowledge-driven. Is it like a 2 years ahead or 4 years ahead or 10 years ahead? Because